Welcome back to Safeties and Slices, where Buda Baker is now the best safety in the league because Justin Simmons and the Broncos not looking too hot. This is a podcast right now that you are listening to where me and my buddy Isaac will not be joining us today because unfortunately he is under the radar. But we just talk about the current events going on in sports, golf, PGA, that kind of stuff. But we're going to jump right into it. Time of recording, we are moving on to week 11. Even though we are on week 11, I'm going to go back to week 9 and start. The Colts obviously won over the Jets. Not too many games. The shocking one on week 9, it was the Bills and Jags, the lowest scoring game of the week. The Jaguars scored 9 and the Bills scored 6. That was the Jags, first real upset. The Raiders lost to the Giants going on. Denver Broncos, studs, always. Beat the Cowboys, America's team, not so much anymore. The Chargers beat the Eagles. Ravens beating the Vikings in overtime. That was a really good game. Came down to a field goal. The Cardinals and the Niners, looking a little shaky at first there with Kyler Murray. Ended up pulling through, though. Let's see. Our Monday night game would have been the Steelers and Bears. That was a very controversial game. The Bears really did kind of get cheated out of that game by the refs. The Steelers did end up winning 27. The Titans shutting out the Rams, really. 28-16, not a good game at all. The Chiefs and Packers played. That was a game most people thought was going to be really good. That game, Aaron Rodgers was out due to COVID. Jordan Love came in. They got him a touchdown. Only scored 7, but the Chiefs only scored 13. So it wasn't really much of a game there. Going on to Week 10, the Dolphins and Ravens. That was a pretty solid game Thursday night. The Ravens ended up losing to the Dolphins. 22-10. I started Lamar that week, and whenever I start Lamar in fantasy, always seems to not go good for him. So, Titans beating the Saints, nothing surprising. Here is something surprising. The Lions and the Steelers. The Lions have been 0-9 up to this point, and they are now 0-9-1. They tied the Steelers in overtime. Couldn't pull through with the win. That's kind of sad. Really was hoping there. Here's another big upset. The Buccaneers, Tom Brady's team, the X Factors on the Buccaneers. Solid team. Obviously just won the Super Bowl. Washington upset them 29-19. So that was a bit of an upset. I started Tom Brady too. So, fantasy teams were not looking good. The Patriots and Browns. The Patriots won 45-7, and the Browns are really just not doing their best. They lost OBJ, which I'll talk about later. The Panthers and Cardinals. The Cardinals are in a slump right now. I don't know what's going on, but the Panthers won 34-10. The Vikings and Chargers. The Vikings, obviously, they're really starting to show some Super Bowl potential. They beat the Chargers. The Chargers, I thought, were one of the best teams. The Packers and Seahawks. Packers won 17-0. I don't know what's up with Russell, but not his best game. The Eagles and Broncos. Unfortunately, my Broncos did lose 30-13. Just a hard-fought L we took. The Chiefs and Raiders, they say that's a big rivalry. The Chiefs obviously won after the Raiders have lost Henry Ruggs. I will talk on that later. But the Rams, also being in a slump, they lost Monday night to the Niners, 31-10. So it wasn't just like a normal you get down, can't come back. No, it was awful. So I'm going to just, before I talk about Week 11, I'm going to go into some NFL news real quick. Obviously, some of this is old news because I haven't recorded in a while. But Von Miller, my mid-linebacker, pass rusher for the Broncos, stud, Super Bowl champion, traded him for a second and a third-round pick to the Rams, which honestly is pretty good for how old he is, and he hasn't been performing like he has been since Super Bowl 50. Obviously, he got injured and just hasn't really recovered. But the Rams, I mean, they have been making money moves. OBJ, they signed him to have a 3-stud wide receiver offense. But Woods got injured, and now there's only really 2, Cooper Kupp and OBJ. Matthew Stafford's a really good QB, but I don't know what's going on. They're still in a slump. They're down 2, and this week, let's see who they play. They play it's their bye week, actually. So maybe they can practice, get better, because obviously they're not doing good. Unfortunately, as I said, Henry Ruggs was in a car accident. He was driving under the influence and was going way too fast and wrecked and killed some other people. Very unfortunate for those other guys, and Ruggs will never come back to the NFL. I will say that right now confidently. There is no way he's coming back. So now the Raiders really only have Darren Waller, and he's just a tight end too, but he's just a real big guy, real good guy. The Titans have signed Adrian Peterson because Derrick Henry is now injured, which is really shocking to me and really unfortunate. I'm pretty sure he tore his ACL, and he will be out for the year. So they had to make another move. They signed Adrian Peterson. Obviously, he's a little bit older of a running back. Didn't quite do too much. I mean, he hasn't done good. They're sticking to passing with Julio. I mean, that's really the most recent news in the NFL. There's probably a couple others that I missed, but really nothing going on besides a couple teams that are still in the slump. The Rams, I mean, I don't know what's going on there. Let's see, the Cardinals, they're also losing. Kyler Murray, the stud out of Oklahoma, one of my favorite quarterbacks, even though he can't see over his O-lineman because he's not tall. I don't know what's going on. They're not looking like the Super Bowl team they should be. Same thing with the Rams. The NFC this year is the hardest it's probably ever been. You have the Bucs with Tom Brady, Rams, Matthew Stafford, Cardinals, Green Bay. I mean, it's those 4 teams are honestly the top teams of the NFC this year. And what happens? I don't know. That's going to be an interesting Super Bowl thing, but obviously we still have a long ways. Being without Isaac today, not much to talk about really, but something I'm going to go into here is like some teams that really actually have a shot at the playoffs that not a whole lot of people thought. The Patriots, starting off, Bill Belichick, Mac Jones. Mac Jones has been performing. He's pretty good. They're 6-4, so obviously they still have a pretty good shot. And I mean, it's there. This is one I kind of disagree with, but I'm reading this off of Bleacher Report. This one I kind of disagree with. The Cleveland Browns, honestly, I think they're going to lose first round. They will make it to the postseason, but I bet they lose first round. Another one, the Bengals. I love the Bengals, Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow, the LSU teams. They're 5-4. They did end up beating the Ravens quite a while back, and that was a huge win for them, showing that they can really shut down Lamar. And I think they were the first team that really started showing, the Dolphins. How they ended up winning was they just rushed the crap out of Lamar. I mean, blitzing was crazy, and they forced him to get out of pocket, throwing bad passes and everything. Here's one you wouldn't think: the Indianapolis Colts. I mean, it's possible. They're 5-5. Carson Wentz at quarterback. He is not the worst, but he's definitely not the best. They have a really good running back. I did forget his name, but I tried to get him in fantasy, and that didn't work out. the Colts are really just looking pretty good. The Lions is on here. I'm just kidding. They suck. The Lions are awful and will never make it. The last one on here, there's 5. The Minnesota Vikings. I can see that. Justin Jefferson, he's pretty good. Thielen, their defense has been holding steady. I mean, after their recent win against the Chargers, they've definitely got a good shot. I don't know. I doubt they can perform against those upper-handed teams. But, I mean, who knows? We have to wait. Some good upcoming games here for Week 11. The Packers and Vikings. As I just said, the Vikings may be going for a Super Bowl run here. I doubt it. But the Vikings playing the Packers, I really could see the Vikings pulling through on that one. The Colts and Bills, I believe that will be a good game. Josh Allen can only do so much. Stephon Diggs, he has really been doing good this year. Cole Beasley's another one. The Browns and Lions, yeah. Washington and Panthers, I bet you the Panthers win there. Sam Darnold just throwing dimes. Christian McCaffrey. Niners, Jags, who cares? Let's see. It's really not. Oh, Cowboys and Chiefs. Now, 2 teams I personally hate. But which one would I cheer for? Probably going with the Cowboys. Bengals, Raiders. Bengals really should pull through with that one. The Cardinals and the Seahawks, I think that would be a really good game coming Sunday. I can honestly see the Seahawks winning, but with how Russell Wilson has been doing, probably not going to happen. But the Sunday night game would be the Steelers and Chargers. That might be really good, but I just think the Chargers are really going to pull through there. Steelers just haven't really been as hot as they were last year. Obviously going undefeated for like the first however many weeks. Juju doing his TikTok dances. The Monday night game, not much there. Actually, could really turn around. The Bucks and the Giants, that really could be an upset. I can see it happening. Will it? Probably not. But could it? Absolutely. Jumping into something I usually don't talk about, or we usually don't talk about, MLB. The World Series, obviously the Braves won in 6, but a guy won $25.6 million on a bet he made on March 31st for the Braves to go in 6. I mean, that is an extremely lucky guy. One thing we do talk about on here, the PGA, nothing really going on. Really boring. Not much there. But I think that will wrap it up for today's podcast. Unfortunately, without Isaac here, there won't be 2. I didn't do overrated, underrated because it's kind of pointless with just me doing it. I have nobody to argue with. So, yeah, that's going to wrap it up. Thank you for tuning in.